Hey there, welcome to the Mountain of God. My name is Kamil. Today is 18th of May 2021. Welcome to video number 28. Today I want to talk about what is the difference in between you having a gift and you being called to minister in that gift or with that gift. I've seen that we don't really teach that, and it causes a lot of issues, especially in the church. So I want to talk about it to save you trouble, to save you from basically making mistakes that will hurt a lot of people along the way. So I'll try to be succinct in this. So let's just jump right into it. First of all, if you've got a gift, it means that you've been given an ability or some kind of talent that allows you to do something. And first of all, your responsibility is to develop that gift. Because you were given this gift for a very specific reason. God would not give it to you if He would not want to use it in something later, probably some form of ministry or in a bundle of other gifts to do something else, but it's going to be used. So your responsibility is to develop it, not to borrow it somewhere. You see, this is something that it's not optional. It's not like, I'll think about it, maybe tomorrow. I have to feel it. You see, you've been given responsibility to develop it. So don't put it aside. Especially, I'm just going to say it as a side note, God created this whole thing that I think there's like a really rare occasion when it's not happening. This like exclusion of the rule. But God created gifts, so when you enter it and learn how to be good at it, and you're gonna start applying it or doing what this gift's supposed to be used in, you'll feel fulfillment. That's why it's not like a tragedy. You have to do things that you hate. No, the whole point is that He gives you gifts that you're going to fall in love with. So just trust Him and develop the gift. Second thing, you've got to understand that this is the time of your training. When you get a gift and you start developing it, this is a time for trial and error. You can make mistakes. So that's why when you're trained, one of the best ways to train is to train under supervision. So you will have someone who will be able to mentor you, someone who knows what they're doing. And they probably are in the ministry of that gift themselves, so they'll be able to tell you exactly what you're supposed to learn, how to understand it. But you say, no, there's no one in my church who is able to do this. Well, then find someone. Or, buy books, buy trainings. In today's world, you have access to everything. And if there is such a situation, which is highly unlikely, but if there is, there's always someone who can teach you, someone who gave you the gift. Duh. So that's why you're supposed to put it on yourself to have mentor, to be accountable. And you're supposed to start with it. And if there's no one else to teach you, ask your God, who gave you that gift, to mentor you. If He gave you the gift, then He would know how to train you, obviously. But first of all, develop the gift. Second, be accountable, train under supervision, and give yourself possibility or permission to make mistakes, to do this trial and error. Because you learn by successes, but even more you learn from your failures. Because when you make a mistake, you see that something didn't work out, then you can ask yourself or ask your mentor, why did this thing didn't work? And then you were able to learn, draw some conclusions. That's the way you learn and develop your gift. And point number 3, you've got to understand that because you just been given the gift that you're supposed to develop, because this is the time for training and trial and error under supervision, the tasks that you've been given, or the things that you will be used with this gift will not have much impact. So don't be discouraged that you're not, I don't know, prophesying to kings and queens right away. This is not the time for it. The whole point for you to be able to train in this is so you would not, by making mistakes, hurt a lot of people. So this is what you're supposed to do with your gift. And one additional thing, or like a, I don't know, pinpoint of all of this, is the keyword that you're supposed to learn how to use. And for this time of trial and error and developing gift, your keyword is to be humble. Look at it this way. What do you think would happen or will happen if during the time you're making your training in your gift, you're gonna make a mistake? How will people react to, especially people in power or in authority over you, like let's say your elders or your pastor in your church? If you'll do something and make a mistake, but you're humble about it, they'll say, listen, this person is in training, everything's fine, everything's cool, they're humble, they're receiving correction, and they're taking it, with humility. Great. Let them learn, let them progress. But if you'll make a mistake, and you've been prideful, and you've been rude and insolent, then don't expect mercy. But the other around, what will happen if you will be humble and you'll be right? They will say they were right and they're humble. Let's help them and let's lift them up and give them more and more possibilities to learn and more responsibility. But even if you're right and you're rude, nobody would want to work with you. Just not because you're wrong, but because you're rude. So that's why we see tons of people running around the church, and they read the one book or they saw one video or seen someone prophesy. Now they want to do this, and in their own zeal, they just running around and just think that they're gods themselves right now, and they're bold and insolent enough to basically prophesy and say, "Thus says the Lord," to elders or their pastors, and many times they're wrong. And that's why so many churches are having issues with this kind of people. And even worse if churches are not doing anything, because in a proper situation or a proper way to deal with this kind of people, whether it's church, whether it's a company or anything else, these people are supposed to be taken aside and say, shut up. You're not given authority to do this. No one will take this kind of behavior lightly. Because there'll be consequences of you behaving that way, because it's disrespectful. It doesn't matter if you're right or wrong. That's why I learned that humility is your way to success, no matter if you're making mistakes or not, whether you're right or wrong. But there's a point in time, as we talked about when I talked about the calling. There's a moment in time when you are pushed towards ministry. You've been called, and as we said, maybe there's a burning bush moment that God tells you straight to your face, this is the time I want to start working with you. And then what is the difference in comparison to time of your training? You've been called by God. Many times you'll be called by people, and the best scenario is for you to be called by God and by people. Because when you're called by people but not called by God, you would want to back out, because the person that gave you the gift is Him, not the people. So be careful about it. But let's say that you've been called by both of them. You've been put in a position of authority. What now? Your first and foremost responsibility is to deliver. This is not a time for trial and error. It's not time for trying this or that. No, this is the time you're supposed to prove that you're excellent, that you are capable of delivering results that you're supposed to deliver, because you've been sort of paid for. You know what I'm saying? So that is why your first and foremost responsibility is to deliver the result. That's why you've been given the position of authority. Second thing that that I want you to kind of see, that you're supposed to be responsible. You're supposed to have people who will check what you're doing. And that's why I love so many of the ministries, even people from a top tier. You can see that they're having ministries, doing crazy stuff, meaning, miracles or deliverance. And even though they have their pastors, they have their accountability people, because you want to be humble in what you're doing. But this way or the other, they see, and many times when you hear even people, let's say from prophecy, they'll say, God is coming back to you and teaching you new stuff, but many times He's taking you back to the old lessons so you would not forget that no matter how high you are, you can fall. So that's why no matter how high you are in authority, in a hierarchy, whatever, you want to be humble. So that's why you want someone who you'll be accountable before. And that's why point number 3, you've got to understand that when you put in a position, you've been given the authority. Now it's the time that the tasks or the impact of your action will be completely different. That's the difference in between you being in training and you being in a ministry. And that's why I want you to understand that now it's serious. Because it's not going to impact you because someone will say, oh, this guy is this or that, or he said or did something that I don't like. No, if you're put in a position of authority, what you do will have impact on other people. And the higher you are, the higher the authority given to you, the higher the probability that the consequence might be dire. Not only, and for you, it doesn't really matter, for the people. Because at the end of the day, if you're not able to deliver, you're supposed to be removed from your position. That's how healthy church and healthy even company is supposed to work. That you're not kept in a positions, people who are completely unprepared to play that role. But if you are good enough, if you're trained enough and you're capable of delivering it, remember the key word for you here, it's boldness or courage. Because you are not put in a position to not be sure, to say, oh, I don't know, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do, or I didn't know. No, this is the time for you to take action. That's why you're in that position. But even though you're supposed to be courageous, you're supposed to be bold in taking leadership in exactly what you've been put in, you're supposed to be humble. So, listen, that's why I want to talk about it. It sounds like very dry, some form of theology-ish psychology of behavior, I don't know. But I want to talk about it because I see so many people not understanding that you are not in a position of authority. Nobody told you, nobody gave you the authority to do this or that. Let's say prophesy. Very good example, especially in many Baptist churches that I heard. So many people are trying to prophesy for everyone just because they want. No. And not only you don't have an authority, but you are rude. So that's why I want you to look at yourself and first of all understand you've got gifts, you're supposed to do something with them, and learn how to do it properly. So listen, this is what I want you to take from this video. Your God gave all of us gifts, and He was very generous with it. But what you have to understand is you're supposed to develop the gift, you're supposed to learn, especially under supervision. You have to learn how to train yourself, but how to be humble with it. How to understand that this is the time of training, and no matter how far we'll go, how good I am, or how long it's going to take me to become good, humbleness is the key to go. because that's how I learn. That's how I have people who support me, no matter how bad I am at the beginning. But then if you're put in a position of authority, if you're in a ministry, God told you, now is the time to use this gift to do this or that. Now you've got to understand that you're responsible to deliver. Now you're responsible to be accountable, because the tasks that you've been given will have dramatic impact on other people. You have to be bold, but you have to be humble, and you have to deliver over and over again. So think about it and do something about it, because you don't want to miss where you are, but you want to discover what's your gift, learn how to be good at it, so your God and other people will be able to see that you're worthy to be given the authority, because you will deliver. If you like this video, like, share, and comment. If you didn't, comment as well. Tell me what you think and what is your experience. And if there's anything you want me to talk about, just give me a shout. I'll be glad to do it for you. And that being said, see you tomorrow.